The Amp Research BedStep2 would be a great solution for the stock or lifted 2015 through 2018 truck owners out there who are tired of having to step on the tire or do some kind of crazy acrobatics to grab something out of the bed or a toolbox on your rig. Now the BedStep2 will be a stowable step that is capable of supporting up to 300 pounds and does mount to the frame without the need for any drilling or permanent modification. Price point for the made in the USA step is going to be right around the mid $200 area, and the install will get a healthy 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, with a little bit more to come later in the video. So for those who don't know, Amp Research does make some pretty awesome and unique products to help truck owners, including their extremely popular Power Step, which is their automatic deploying running board, their BedStep and BedStep2 that we have here, and finally some bed extenders. And as a truck owner, I can say the BedStep2 does solve a common problem a lot of us truck owners have to deal with, right? And that is grabbing that one last item in the bed all the way in the back towards the cab. Now, me personally, I typically employ the climb onto the tire routine, but climbing onto a 35 isn't always the easiest, especially in wet conditions, and especially as we get a little bit older. Now, sometimes you can even get a little bit daring and do the side step to tire split, but one wrong move could lead to disastrous results. So for all those reasons, the BedStep2 is again the perfect solution for those hard to reach items in the bed, or even with guys with the bed mounted toolboxes or ladder racks. So how does this thing work? Well, the BedStep2 is going to mount to the frame using the included hardware and bracket, and will give you a boost where it is needed most, between the cab and the rear tire, allowing you to access whatever you need to much easier and without the need for any truck yoga or acrobatics. As far as construction is concerned, well, you're going to be looking at a very well-made part, and again, built right here in the good old US of A. This does include high-strength aluminum alloy components, stainless steel pivot pins, and finally maintenance-free self-lubricating bushings. The entire step has been finished off in a military-spec Teflon-based black powder coat, complete with a non-slip step, big enough to accommodate up to 2 large boots according to the gang over at Amp. Now, I will say I wear a size 12, and while yes, I can fit both boots on at one time, it is a little snug. Easily though, you can fit 1 foot on here without the fear of slipping off. Now, 2 things I really do want to point out that I enjoy about the BedStep2. First and foremost, the movement of the step does allow for it to swing down with minimal effort when needed and stored up and away just as easily. This is important to me because while yes, the step is completely functional, I personally don't want to see this thing hanging down at all times. It just doesn't really look all that good, let's be honest. And while it doesn't completely disappear visually when fully retracted, it is pretty inconspicuous when it's tucked out of the way. Secondly, I really like the fact that these steps aren't side specific, meaning you can mount this thing on either side of your truck without issue. But just a heads up here, guys, this is not designed to work on the 8-foot box, so just 5.5 foot and 6.5 foot beds only with the BedStep2. Last but not least, this thing is backed by a 3-year warranty from Amp Research if you should ever encounter any issues. But what do you say we loosely touch on the installation with the Amp Step? And as I pointed out earlier, guys, no drilling, no permanent modification needed here, so expect a solid 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and maybe an hour or so from start to finish to get the step in place. Tool-wise, you're really just looking at a basic socket set here in addition to a T25 Torx tool as well. Now, depending on what side you decide to mount your step, your install will be slightly different. So just make sure you're referencing those included instructions before getting started. Now, the basic idea will be to assemble the bracket and then install the linkage to the bracket using the included M10 bolts, being careful not to over tighten. You'll want that assembly to be able to swivel back and forth easily. At this point, you will need to insert the U-clips into the frame. Just be careful not to drop them into the frame itself. Once the U-clips are in place, you can attach the bracket using your 4 M10 included bolts. Last but not least, you will need to install the step using your T25 Torx tool. Double check all your bolts for tightness and your installation is complete. So if you're sick and tired of doing all kinds of craziness to access your cargo or your toolbox, then you'll definitely want to check out the BedStep2 from Amp Research right here at AmericanTrucks.com.